One snowy day in December, I was walking home from school. It was the last day of school before winter break. Not many people were around. I can't describe it, but for some reason, all of a sudden I had this feeling that somebody was watching me. I turned around and I heard the rustle of a bush. I asked if anybody was there, and no one responded. I turned around to see if anybody was there, but just as I turned my head, I heard the rustle of the bush right next to me. I asked if anybody was there, and nobody responded. I was creeped out, so I continued walking at a faster pace, looking behind me every couple of seconds. A while later I felt calmer, thinking it was probably just the wind. I got home and things were pretty normal. The next day when I went to go walk my dog, we crossed that same area where I heard the bush. My dog for some reason started barking at the bush. I remember the events that took place the previous day and started feeling uneasy, like something bad was about to happen. I wanted to walk away from the place as fast as possible. I tried picking him up, but I couldn't, so I got a treat and threw it away from the bush. He jumped to go catch it, and then I was able to convince him to walk away. Cut to later that night. I was in my room on my computer, which faces the exact opposite side of my window. I had my headphones on, so I couldn't really hear it at first, but it sounded like there was tapping at my window. This didn't make any sense because I was on the second floor. I took off my headphones and I still heard the tapping. I froze. I didn't move for a solid minute. I was too shocked and confused and scared. I decided to crawl towards the window and then open up the curtains really quick to see who it was before they ran away. But just as I did, there was a lot of rustling and a lot of scraping against the window. The other person started screaming and I could tell they were about to fall. The ladder fell backwards and so did the man. I heard him screaming in pain. And just as he did, I did too, but out of fear. My dad came into my room and asked me what was wrong. I told him about the man that was outside the window, and he saw him too. My dad ran downstairs as fast as he could to catch the man, but by the time he was there, the man was gone. All that was left was the ladder. I think my dog barking at that bush is too much of a coincidence. I think he was trying to warn me of something, but I just didn't listen. I live in a small apartment complex close to my workplace. I could walk to work, which I sometimes do, but I usually ride my bike. This day was one of the days where I walked. 5 minutes into the walk, I realized that somebody was following me. Now, I'm a little paranoid, so I turned onto the next street to see if they would still follow me, and they did. This could just be a coincidence, I thought. I turned right 3 times to check if they were following me, and they were still there, 20 feet right behind me. I turned around and started walking in their direction, thinking that they would probably turn around and keep checking back to see if I was there. No surprise, they did. At this point, I knew they were following me, and they must have thought that I caught them, and that's why they turned around and started walking in the opposite direction. I started jogging to catch up to them, but I thought, what if they have a weapon, like a knife or something? They could have been looking to rob me, and I really don't want to make a scene. At this point, I started making my regular route back to my workplace, and I occasionally looked behind me. He was gone, so I felt relieved, but as I get closer to my building, I noticed that there he is, he's on my tail again. I start walking really fast and I notice that he does too. At this point, I decide that whatever he wants, I don't want any part in. So I decide to sprint to my office building. I tell the security guard there what happened. He told me he would try to find the person and report them to the police. I saw him step out to look, but he told me he didn't find anybody. I don't know what happened to the person after that. All I know is they haven't followed me since. This story happened a couple years ago, so my memory isn't the best. It was summer. School had been out for a week or so. My family was going out of the country, but we were leaving in about 2 weeks. I was excited to go because we were visiting my cousins. Me and my friends were hanging out at the park, and there were some other parents there with their children. There was one person that didn't seem like they had any kids though. They were watching me and my friends. I didn't think much about it because we were too busy playing. But when we stopped playing and decided to head back home, the man also left, following us. We didn't notice initially, but one of my friends pointed out that that was the same guy from the park. We didn't know what to do. We felt scared he might try to take us. He followed us from a big distance, about 40 to 50 feet. I thought that if we went home, this man would try to get in. We went back to the park and told one of the adults that the man was following us. He asked us where the man was and what he looked like. We turned around to show him the man, but he wasn't there. This dad gave us his phone and let us call my dad. I called him, told him what happened, and he came to pick us up. I never saw the man again, which was strange because my neighborhood is pretty small and we kind of know everybody. This encounter made me more paranoid about my surroundings and the people around me.